It's good to see you again.
All right, lovely, and I'm so happy to be in the studio of Unity 93.3 FM this lovely Thursday morning, 23 November 2023. You tune to Unity 93.3 FM and TV. Yes, we're reaching you live from the city of Cheers, to be precise, from the hills of ZINARIYA in just North Plateau State, Nigeria, the home of peace and tourism, and it promises to be very, very interesting and fantastic. This is because I have you keeping your diet locked to these very stations, and together we'll make it work well. In the studio this morning, I have an in-house analyst and a political scientist. Mr. Shuaibu Duro is with me. He'll be saying a very good morning to you, our listener and our viewer out there. Doro, good morning to you this morning.
Thank you, Colby. Good morning, viewer and listener. It's a pleasure being with you once more on this beautiful and, of course, chilly Thursday morning. We look forward to another beautiful and engaging interaction with you as usual. Thank you very much for staying tuned. And God bless you for always being there to keep us going.
Yes, of course, even as we look forward to having an interesting edition of Unity Trend this morning, it's good you know that the first segment of Unity Trend is newspaper review, and just after 30 minutes down the line, it's going to be from 8 to 8:30, and then from 8:30 to 9 is going to be where we bring in what we call transit. We discuss a topic, and then 30 minutes from 9 to 9:30, it's going to be your own time to join us. And so you may want to stay tuned so that you would have a lot to say when the time comes. And there's going to be a studio line live for you to call, and also a line for you to send in your SMS. And then you also join us on our YouTube page. You just go Unity FM TV to join us on our YouTube page, because we are streaming live. And on Facebook, you can also join us on Unity Radio FM/TV Cheers to be with us on our Facebook page. That is it. And this morning, let's begin by Under in Coma as Akeredolu hangs onto power. This is where we would begin this morning, and
Yes.
It's politics. And there's actually nothing that is not politics.
Well,
because if you
definitely,
talk economy, you're actually talking about politics in
Politics,
some way.
definitely.
When you talk security, in some way you're also talking politics.
Definitely.
But this time around, it's politics all through.
Definitely.
So he's been away for quite some time for
Medical tourism.
and
Germany,
here he's
yeah.
back. It is expected that a move should be,
Definitely.
So, but that is yet to be seen.
Definitely. Well, that's quite unfortunate, could be. And again, it's more unfortunate because it's happening in 21st century Nigeria. It's happening in Nigeria, whose democracy is over 20 years old. That's it. And, when we talk about, democracy, democratic progress, political development, and what have you, we always say that Nigeria seems to be, we are making progress, gradually, but we also are lacking. We also are lagging behind in a lot of respect, unlike what we see in even sister countries, even within Africa, and all of that. So I think it's very saddening that this is actually happening in Nigeria of today. This is the issue. Of course, everyone knows what's been going on in Ondo State as a result of the strained relationship between Akeredolu and his deputy, Lucky Aiyedatiwa. We had cause to say a lot of things about this in the past. This is the issue. When Akeredolu was in Germany for medical tourism, Aiyedatiwa was in acting capacity, but then again, after his return, of course, a lot of things were discovered. There were allegations of, financial impropriety on the part of, Aiyedatiwa, the acting governor, and things like that, which actually culminated in the attempt to impeach him by the State Assembly. And that is something that Aiyedatiwa is still battling with. This is the issue. And so 80 days after the return of Rotimi Akeredolu, according to report, he has yet to step a foot into, into Ondo State, probably or apparently as a result of his deteriorating health condition. Apparently, Akeredolu, even after returning from medical tourism in Germany, is still struggling with his health condition, and that might just be why he has not been able to step foot into Ondo State. And as a result of that, now governance is actually suffering, could be.
Yes.
And that's the unfortunate part of it, because, like some people will say, the state is now on autopilot. The state is now on its own, with no one at the helm of affairs. It's like a ship without a captain. That's exactly what is going on. And, in situations like this, where the chief executive or the principal is unable to act, apparently or probably because he's incapacitated, common sense or common wisdom or conventional wisdom should actually dictate that the next person in command, should actually take charge. But apparently, because of some vested interest, because of some partisan considerations here and there, Lucky Aiyedatiwa is not being given the opportunity to actually take over, as the governor and things like that. This is the problem. Now, according to reports, since the return of Lucky, Akeredolu from Germany,
yes,
the state has not even had a state executive council meeting. And I don't see how you can run a government without the weekly state executive council meetings. It doesn't happen. That is where you sit down to appraise performances, to actually look back and see, how the journey has been, what amend or what adjustment need to be made,
looking at
the progress so far, and things like that.
Contemporary realities
and all of those things. It is actually, at that avenue that you are able to appraise, and evaluate performance and things like it. It is at that avenue that you're able to actually engage your lieutenants, your commissioners, your advisors, and get to know, what progress has actually been made, what challenges there are, and what needs to be done and things like that. But the state has not had that, for the past 80 days since the return of Akeredolu. So governance is actually suffering. That's number one. Number two, Ondo State has not even been seen to have been represented at the at the National Economic Council meeting. You understand, which of course is a meeting of, is actually a council of governors who meet, from time to time to discuss economic issues and things like that. You understand, this is the issue. So a lot of things are actually not happening as a result of the inability of Akeredolu to actually, act in his capacity as governor and things like that. This is the issues. And then on another hand, the person who is supposed to, have taken charge as governor or acting governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, is battling with, an impeachment move by the State Assembly and things like that. So he's not even had the stability to be able to pay attention to issues. This is the issue. So the call from certain quarters, and even some of the lawyers who have had cause to comment on the issue, have actually, lamented and decried the entire situation, because it's not supposed to happen, in a 21st century Nigeria, where we are supposed to be wiser, where we're supposed to be more enlightened politically, and things like that. This is the issue. And I do recall that the same, Rotimi Akeredolu was actually in the forefront of calls, for because of course at some point in time, you may recall, listeners and viewers may also recall, I think sometimes in 2009 and 2010, when then President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, was not able to actually act capacity as president because of his deteriorating health condition. You understand, there were lots of constitutional crises here and there. You understand, because a lot of people had thought then that President Yar'Adua was going to actually simply give his deputy, Goodluck Jonathan, the go-ahead to actually act as president pending his return from medical tourism and things like that. But it did not happen. So, on one hand, we had a certain Yar'Adua who was literally incapacitated as a result of his failing health condition. And then, on another hand, we had a certain Goodluck Jonathan who was vice president, but who could actually not save the country as a result of the absence or of his principal and things like that. This was the constitutional logjam that the country found itself in, and at that time, civil society organizations, legal experts, and all of that actually, mounted pressure on Yar'Adua to actually give his, his deputy the go-ahead to actually act, as president, pending his return. And apparently, because of some vested interest, especially in, from the northern oligarchy, you understand, Yar'Adua had continued to hold on to power even when apparently it was not possible for him to continue to do so. This is the issue. So Rotimi Akeredolu, now governor of Ondo State, was one of those in the forefront of those calls for Yar'Adua then to actually, cede power to his deputy to continue to act, pending his return and things like that. This is the issue. It was at that point in time that the issue of the doctrine of necessity actually became part of it was at that time that the issue of the doctrine of necessity was actually introduced, you understand, so that in a situation where, for example, a chief executive is not able to act as a result of incapacitation or whatever reason, you understand, the doctrine of necessity can then be activated or invoked so that his, second in command can actually have the legal backing to be able to take over and things like that. Now there are calls for Rotimi Akeredolu, who had actually led that same call back in 2010 to actually do same. You understand, to activate the doctrine of necessity so that his deputy, Lucky Ayedatiwa, as he actually did then, and it's surprising that this person who actually was in the forefront for calls to for Yar'Adua to activate the doctrine of necessity to allow his deputy to take over, the same person is refusing to do the needful now that destiny has actually put him in a situation where he's supposed to do that. This is the issue. So I think that this is not supposed to be happening in today's Nigeria, where we are supposed to be more enlightened, where we are supposed to be more civilized and things like that. And this is the issue. So at the end of the day, and of course I do understand that he's of course beneficiaries of the vacuum created by Akeredolu's absence now, are actually saying, there's nothing wrong and Ondo State is fine. There's nothing for anyone to worry about, because even though, he is not in the state, but he has continued to attend to issues, signing files and things like that. But I'm also compelled to ask, signing of files is not the only responsibility of a governor. We see the likes of Babagana Zulum, right? We see governors around the country, moving, helter-skelter from pillar to pole, from one place to another, commissioning one project or another and things like that, attending meetings here and there, dialoguing with communities, in town halls and things like that. And then here you are telling us that because Akeredolu is signing files and all of that, there's nothing for anyone to worry about. It's not supposed to be happening. I do also understand that there are vested interests, surrounding the entire issue, because according to reports, of course, there will be elections in November 2024. You understand? And of course, the deputy governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, is from the southern part of the state. So there are fears that if Ayedatiwa is allowed to take over as governor and things like that, he might eventually feel, okay, now I have an opportunity to also pursue a different ambition and things like that. And of course, Akeredolu does not want that to happen. This is the issue. So people who are exploiting the situation, to their own benefit and things like that, do not actually want, the situation. They want to maintain the status quo. But the problem here is that while it is serving you, the people, of the state are actually suffering as a result of that. And so what legacy will Akeredolu claim to have left, when his tenure eventually expires at the end of the day and things like that? So I think people need to be able to look beyond, the spur of the moment. People need to be able to look beyond their personal and selfish interests and actually look at the collective or common interest of the people. If, Akeredolu had actually had the, humility or the morality, to be able to look beyond himself, he will have since given the go-ahead to his deputy, regardless of whatever political battle is going on between the two of them. He will have since given him the go-ahead to actually act, in his place, pending when he's able to regain his health, get back to his feet and things like that. So I think at the end of the day, there's a need for, something to actually be done as far as this issue is concerned. And only one thing can be be done in this particular circumstance,
Okay,
which is for the governor to actually permit his deputy to carry on. That is why you have a deputy at the end of the day. It is just so that when you are not there, somebody can actually act in your place. You know, this is the issue. But in a situation where you are literally unable to act, you know, in that, you know, constitutional capacity, and you don't want to give the opportunity for someone who is constitutionally empowered to do so, to actually go ahead, I think it actually reels of selfishness and things like that.
It's quite unfortunate again and again, now that the people need their representative to be very focused. It's quite unfortunate that you have the executive, the people whom ordinarily are expected to look beyond the conventional, so that they could come up with strategies that will help the people, relieve the people from all the realities at the moment. You having them again and again fighting themselves, not trusting themselves, not doing the needful. Okay, let's just go quickly to see this one on The Nation. It says, appeal court lays to rest Kano judgment controversy. It's quite, Doro, when people say conflicting judgment, and it's becoming part of what some of this is becoming like
rampant,
like a tease. And again, you don't. It has been established even on this platform that these judges are human beings. They're likely to make mistakes, and then but that they have made mistakes, that does not in any way, undermine the integrity of the judiciary at all. So, but let's have this to do with what is obtainable, or in case of Kano State.
Yeah, well. There were protests, I think, the day before yesterday in Kano State as a result of a certain contentious or controversial discoveries that were actually made with respect to the judgment of the appeal court, right? Delivered in respect of the APC versus the NNPC's petition, pending before the appeal court, right, on the 17th of November, that is this particular month we are in. This is the issue. Of course, after the judgment, it was already clear that the tribunal, the appeal court, had actually upheld, right, or sustained the position of the tribunal that had earlier sacked Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NNPP. This was the issue, and there were celebrations across board. There were celebrations in parts of Kano State, especially strongholds of the APC and things like that, supporters of Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna of the APC and things like that. But in a sudden twist of event, the Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of the state, in person of what's his name? Issa Dideri, that's the name of the Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of the state. Now, in a sudden twist of event, the Commissioner for Justice of Kano State actually claimed that he actually stumbled upon, a certain page on the certified true copy of the judgment that actually seems to show that, the decision of the tribunal that had earlier sacked, Abba Kabir Yusuf was actually nullified or quashed by the appeal court. This is the issue, and that threw the state into a lot of controversy here and there, protests, all over the place and things like that. This is the issue. Now, when the issue was brought to my attention, I had thought it was a rumor until I actually found ways to to confirm and things like that. This is the issue. So you see, the problem here is that supporters of Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NNPP, we were actually thinking, okay, yeah, so the decision of the tribunal had been nullified. So by implication, Abba Kabir Yusuf is, still the governor of Kano State, right? Well, he's still the governor, pending when the Supreme Court eventually decides. But what actually seemed to have pleased them was the fact that, the decision of the tribunal sacking him had actually been nullified by the appeal court. According to the discovery, on page 67 of the certified true copy of the judgment by the Commissioner for Justice of the state, Issa Dideri, this is the issue. And then on another hand, supporters of the APC and of course Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna, were actually surprised and shocked by the revelation because, a few days ago, of course, their principal, Nasiru Gawuna, was the winner as far as this whole judgment was concerned. And so what is actually happening? So that threw the state into, acrimony, protests here and there and all of those issues. So the question has been, what specifically is actually going on as far as this case is concerned. And I think it is true that, page 67 of the certified true copy of the judgment actually contains, lots of contradictions here and there. You understand? This is the issue. And so the appeal court has come out to say, look, there's nothing for anyone to worry about. What has been discovered on page 67 of the judgment, and of course, don't forget, could be page 67 of the certified true copy of the judgment is the most important page as far as the 72-page judgment is concerned, because it is where the judges actually gave a summary of their entire judgment. You understand? Now, on the same page 67, these were or are the words of the lead judge. The lead judge is Justice Mo Abdumain, and this is what he said on page 67. He says, I will conclude by stating that the live issues in this appeal, that is the appeal by, Abba Kabir Yusuf, he says, I will conclude by stating that the live issues in this appeal are hereby resolved in favor of the first respondent. When you decide in favor of the first respondent, of course, is the APC candidate, Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna, and then the appellant, of course, is Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NNPP. This is the issue. The judge says, I will conclude by stating that the live issues in this appeal are hereby resolved in favor of the first respondent and against the appellant. So when you decide in favor, when you decide in favor of the first respondent, you are deciding in favor of the APC. And when you decide against the appellant, you are deciding against the NPP candidate. This was what, Isa Dederi, the Commissioner for Justice, stumbled on and then began to celebrate and saying, well, we have won. It's Uhuru for us because this is what we have seen. This is it. And then somewhere again, the same judge actually continued by saying, in the circumstances, I resolve all the issues in favor of the appellant and against the first respondent. Earlier on, he had resolved in favor of the first respondent and against the appellant. And now again in favor, of the appellant and against the first respondent. So that is what the HAUSA person calls Tupkada Warwara. You understand? This is the issue. So there seems to be no consistency. And then finally the judge said, therefore, I find no merit in this appeal, which is liable to be and is hereby dismissed. So you have actually then literally dismissed, having decided in favor of the same appellant. Now you are actually saying that the appeal of the appellant has been dismissed. So you can actually see the controversy, in this whole judgment. And that is why NNPP supporters have been celebrating in Kano and things like that. This is the issue. And then, not only that could be, the judge went ahead to say, the sum of 1 million naira is hereby awarded as cost in favor of the appellant and against the first respondent. Meaning that, Nasiru Yusuf Gawuna of the APC had been fined 1 million naira. You understand? Probably or apparently for wasting the time of the court, as they will normally say, and things like that. This is the issue. So you can see the controversy. At a certain point, you said you have resolved the issue in favor of the respondent, the first respondent, that is the APC candidate, and then against the appellant, the NNPP candidate. At another point, you said you have resolved the appeal, in favor of the appellant and against the first respondent, and then you went ahead and awarded a 1 million naira fine on the first respondent, in whose favor you had earlier, decided. This is the issue. But then of course, legal luminaries that have, aired opinions on the issue have actually said that at this point in time, it just might not be possible for the appeal court to actually correct this particular anomaly, this error. And it's not just an error, it's, a high-profile error, that has the potential to cause lots of, damage if care is not taken. And because the ultimatum given to the appeal court to decide on that issue, has already expired, it just might not be possible for them to go ahead and make any correction. And according to some, legal experts that have spoken on the issue, only the Supreme Court will eventually, decide on the way forward and things like that. But again, according to the Chief Registrar of the Appeal Court, Umar Muhammad, he actually says that, look, there's nothing for anyone to worry about because the same appeal court that had actually made the mistake through a clerical error can still go ahead and correct it. You understand? According to him, the appeal court is empowered under Order 23, Rule 4 of the appeal court handbook to correct any clerical error once detected by the appeal court. So I think the issue has been laid to rest. You understand? The appeal court has said, look, we should be forgiven, or let's be forgiven for that error, and that, I will go ahead and do the needful as far as correction is concerned. And of course, the decision of the appeal court, upholding the decision of the tribunal that had earlier sacked Abba Kabir Yusuf, still subsists, and the error discovered in the certified true copy of the judgment does not in any way invalidate the position of the appeal court on that issue. And on a final note could be, I think, that can actually be forgiven. Okay. These judges actually work lot of hours. And sometimes, like you said earlier, as human beings, we have the tendency of being susceptible to errors and things like that. When there are a lot of things to do, a lot of things to type, even the clerical staff themselves can make mistakes. And I think that is exactly what has happened here. So I think Nigerians can understand that. And the important message here is that the judgment of the appeal court stands, and nothing has changed that.
Okay, we have just about 2 minutes, Doro. Let's just quickly look at lessons, looking at the election in Liberia. We have just 2 minutes, I'm afraid.
Well, last week or so, a presidential election took place in Liberia. And of course, Ambassador Joseph Boakai actually came out trumps. He came out, victorious in the election at the expense of the incumbent, George Ware, former footballer. And this is the issue. So Africans, opinion leaders, analysts, and pundits have been expressing, opinions and views on the issue, because what seems of particular interest in that election was not just the fact that an incumbent was actually defeated, but the fact that the incumbent who was defeated actually conceded defeat even while counting of vote was in progress. This is the issue. So it's something that seems alien to the political culture in Africa. Could be. It's something that hardly happens. Here in Nigeria, the giant of Africa, the big brother of Africa, a country that should be setting the standards and the pace for sister African countries, democracy-wise, politically, economically, and things like that. We've not seen that, I think, since 1999. The only time we saw that, in Nigeria was, I think, in 2015, when Goodluck Jonathan, then incumbent, actually, also conceded defeat with all humility. You understand? In favor of President Muhammadu Buhari and things like that. This is the issue. But since then, we've not also seen that. And before then, we also hadn't seen that. When, of course, Yar'Adua became president in 2007, Buhari then, who had contested under the banner of the NNPP or the ANPP, actually went to court to challenge it. This is the issue. And since then, every other person who had lost in a presidential contest has always gone to court. Now we've seen what's been going on between, President Bola Tinubu, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP. This is the issue. Ordinarily, we had thought that, having failed in the election and things like that, the losers were going to say, congratulations, Mr. President-elect, let's move ahead and things like that. But we've not seen that. So anytime anyone loses a presidential election, what he decides to do is to simply give the winner a bumpy ride, is to just create a scene unnecessarily and things like that. This is the issue. And so, unlike, the political actors in Nigeria, President George Ware, who has lost out in the presidential election, to his challenger, Ambassador Joseph Boakai, decided to say, look, the people of Liberia have spoken, and it is time for their wishes and decision to be respected. So what did he say? He says, the Liberian people have spoken, and their choice will be honored and obeyed. So he congratulated, at the winner, even when counting of votes, we're actually going on. This is the issue. So I think it's something that we welcome. It's something that we commend. It's something that we would love to see going forward as far as, the political culture in Africa is concerned.
Thank you very much, Doro. Our viewer and listener will go on a short break, and when we come back, it's going to be another beautiful segment of Unity Trend this morning. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your tax taxpayer mansion? How was your
Unity. Unity TV.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It a kill law, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How, Mr. Politician?
So much. I'm so glad to be in the studios of Unity 93.3 FM and TV. We are reaching you live from the hills of ZINARIYA, Jos Plateau State, Nigeria, the home of peace and tourism, and it's Unity Trend. The second segment of Unity Trend, we have a topic for discussion, and our guest for today's topic is seated, and I would love to let you know that you'll be given the opportunity later on after 30 minutes from 9 to 9:30 is going to be your time. And so if you listen, you get to have what to say. You make your contributions. On our Facebook page, you go Unity Radio FM/TV just for Facebook. And on YouTube, you just go Unity FM TV. You join us live on YouTube. And the studio line remains the same, 07032353315. Start getting ready. And then for SMS, get it already. It's 0808478999. Okay, it's good we know that when you see a country developed, when you see a country doing well, it's not just like that. There is always a secret. And talking about a secret is something you keep within yourself. And so today, we'll be looking at a topic that has to do with the secret of becoming a developed country. And in the studio this morning, I am honored to introduce to you, our listener and viewer, Professor Profeno H. Ba Mayi, Dean Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, University of Jos, Public Affairs Analyst, and that one person who believes in the greatness of this great country, Nigeria. He's in the studio. He'll be saying a very good morning to you, our listener and our viewer. Prof, good morning.
Good morning, Kulbi. Good morning, Mr. Doro.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning, our viewers and our listeners. I'm glad to be here again. It's a wonderful time. And I'm sure we're going to be having a very fantastic time together. Especially as we look at the topic for today, the secret to becoming a developed country. Because I'm sure that all of us are interested in seeing Nigeria become a developed country. We want to live in a country that is developed, a country that we can all be proud of. So please stay tuned to 93.3 FM radio and Unity TV. It promises to be a wonderful time as we cruise on this Unity train.
Yes, of course. It promises to be very, very interesting. Doro, Shuaibu Doro is still in the studio. If you don't mind, he too wouldn't mind to say a very big good morning to you, our listener and viewer.
Thank you, Kobe. Good morning, viewer and listener.
Already we have received comments from Danso Dangi Isa, and also from Asobagun Francis, and also from Garba Nahali Akamba Kebi. We'll be reading them later. You might want to join them. And of course, if you want Nigeria to be great, if you want it to be a developed country, there's a secret. And today, with Prof in the studio, we want to know the secret. So let's begin from just anywhere, like in your word.
Yeah, you know, this topic came from Professor Kishore Mabubani. Professor Mabubani was the dean of the Singapore School of Public Policy for about 17 years. And he was asked this question: what is the secret of Singapore becoming a developed country? Because Singapore moved from being a country that was extremely poor, a country that was on the verge of collapsing. Within a period of 25 years, as one city-state, Singapore, an island, with no oil, no much mineral resources, a country that had been expelled by a unanimous decision of parliament from the Malaysian Federation in 1965, and had announced its independence 9th August 1965, with the first Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew weeping. This morning I was even looking at the video of 1965. Lee Kuan Yew was actually crying. And they still have the video in black and white. In fact, at a certain point, he had to stop talking. And he told the journalists whether they can continue later, because he needed to compose himself some more. Because the first time he was weeping, he had to clean his tears. He continued talking. The next time again, he had to clean his tears, and he couldn't continue. He wasn't happy that they were expelled from the Malaysian Federation because he had always believed in the merger. He had always believed that the two countries, the two territories are related by economics, by geography, by kinship. They are one and the same people. You have Chinese in Singapore, you have them in Malaysia. You have Malays in Singapore, Malays in Malaysia. But due to certain disagreements, they had been expelled. What are they going to do? 1965. The mantle of leadership fell on Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew was still a young man then, and he took up the challenge. Within 25 years, he moved Singapore from a country with a GNP, an underdeveloped, struggling country, a country full of poverty. In fact, this Professor Kishore, was born in Singapore in 1948. He was describing the dilapidated conditions and the kind of poverty he made growing up. But Lee Kuan Yew took Singapore from an impoverished, underdeveloped country within 25 years to become a first world country. So, what is the secret?
There's a secret there, must be.
What is the secret? People have asked over the years, what is the secret to becoming a developed country? And so Professor Kishore answered with just 3 points, abbreviated as MPH. Number 1, the first M, meritocracy. Meritocracy. What Lee Kuan Yew did to develop Singapore was, it did not matter what your language, where you come from, whether you are related to me, are you my cousin, are you my brother, are you my neighbor. Meritocracy says give the job to the best person for the job, who deserves it, who merits the job. Meritocracy. It doesn't matter whether he's short or tall. It doesn't matter whether he's an atheist or he's a religious person. It doesn't matter whether he's a Irigwe or he's a Birom or Jarawa. It doesn't matter his ethnic group. What Lee Kuan Yew did was to choose the best brains and give them the job.
The job of actually, building a nation.
The nation.
Because at that time there was no nation.
At that time, unemployment was 100%. Unemployment. Nobody had a job because they had just been expelled from the country they were depending on, Malaysia. Housing was a problem because it's a one-city state, Singapore. It's an island. You go there, there is no space. Where are you going to build a house? So, about 80 to almost 100% of Singaporeans did not even know what is going to happen to housing. You can imagine what they were passing through. Now, they have nothing to export. What are they going to export? They have been relying on Malaysia for almost everything. And so, give the job to the best men who can do the job. Whether you like their faces or you don't like their faces, you like their way of life, you don't like it, is this the person who merits the job? Give the job to the person who merits the job. Meritocracy. Professor Kishore Mabubani went on to talk about what is the next secret. Because this secret, abbreviated as MPH, has a lot of things inside it, even though some summarized in 3 points. So, you have meritocracy. And, the prof said that people come from all over the world to Singapore to study at the Singaporean University. And when they come, they ask the same question, and he says, I will give you the answer free of charge. You will not pay for it. Come, see the secret. This was what made Singapore a developed country within 25 years. The P there is pragmatism. Pragmatism. And pragmatism can mean so many things to different people. But probably the person who best explained pragmatism was the leader of China. You know what he said? He said it doesn't matter whether a cat is black or the cat is white. If it catches a mice, it is a good cat.
Yes.
So whether the cat is black or the cat is white, if that cat can catch a rat for you from your house, it is a good cat.
That is also why it doesn't matter that you are a Nigerian or a Ghanaian.
Yeah.
You can go to England, you can go to America, you can go to every other part of the world, and then you have an opportunity there to contribute to the a collective agenda.
Yes.
Is that just to actually
what they're interested in is results. Give us results. We don't care whether it's a cat that is black or white.
Yes.
What is the result? It's given results. It doesn't matter, is it a difficult formula that is being used? What we want is results. If you look at China, for example, you see that they have been pragmatic. Let's be practical. Let's not just be theoretical. What is it that will work for us?
So where's the place of antecedents? How would you know in the first place that this cat has a history of having to get some meat for it?
How do you know the cat can catch the mice?
The cat can catch mice, isn't it? Because you see, if the cat can catch mice, you will know it because the cat came from somewhere. The cat has been tested.
Okay.
And it has caught mice before.
So
it is still going to catch mice.
You're right then.
And of course, if you put the cat where there are, where there are mice to catch, it should be able to do that.
It should be able to. You can test it and see the result.
Yes.
If it doesn't catch mice, if he's busy playing with the mice, he's not a good cat.
Then you fire and hire.
Absolutely. My wife was talking about one of her friends. They went there and the cat was playing with the rats.
Oh my!
So what kind of cat is this?
I think I love this kind of cat.
Why? Because they are always feeding the cat. The cat is never hungry. So the cat was never taught to catch mice because they have spoiled the cat. So when the cat saw a rat, the cat is already full. So it thought maybe something to play with,
Prof, sir.
Yes.
I'm so much interested in this similitude, and of course this analogy you are giving. You have a cat that is supposed to catch a mouse, actually playing with, what should actually be its potential victim. It then actually means that the cat is not doing its job.
Yes.
The cat must or may have been corrupted somehow.
That's right.
And now in Nigeria, for example, we see the cats, also romancing the mice, which should not be the case. For example, just to bring that home, we see situations where, for example, law enforcement, agents or officers or agencies that are supposed to go after criminals who are undermining, the collective agenda of building the nation, actually, romancing the same people who,
absolutely.
I think it's just like the, a proverbial,
yes,
cat actually now playing, with the mice.
Yes. So, what do you do? If the cat is not catching mice and playing, you have to change the cat, remove the cat, get rid of the cat. So,
after all, there are plenty cats.
There are plenty cats you can use. So Lee Kuan Yew, under this policy of pragmatism, what he did was, look, some people say they are socialists, some say they are capitalists, some say they are communists or whatever. What he did was to bring in anything that works for the country. A little bit of communism, a little bit of socialism, a little bit of capitalism, whatever was going to make Singapore move forward.
And then a little bit of their culture too.
A little bit of their culture. So everything was brought in to make Singapore move forward because they were interested in the results. They were pragmatic. And then, of course, we have the H. The H there is honesty.
All right.
So you have meritocracy, you have pragmatism, and then you have honesty. And what Lee Kuan Yew did was incredible. It was surprising. He got rid of corruption in Singapore. As a public servant, you have to be honest. Corruption was not allowed. In fact, they said of Lee Kuan Yew as Prime Minister, if you as a minister of Singapore go for a vacation with a businessman, big-time businessman, you go for vacation with a big-time businessman, and then you return back, You know what Lee Kuan Yew did? Lee Kuan Yew said, who paid for the bills? The businessman paid your bills. The businessman paid for all the travel. You're corrupt. They will arrest you and put you in prison.
Because the fact that the businessman paid for the trip means that, you know, he is going to get something in return.
Some favors in return. So Lee Kuan Yew said, you are a corrupt politician. You should be put in prison. In fact, he made an example with is it the deputy prime minister. So one of his highly placed officials put him in prison. And people said, what? If this can happen to the deputy minister, then we are not safe. We have to wake up. We have to be serious. You have to be honest. Do you know that Lee Kuan Yew, when he left Singapore as prime minister, when he retired, he was just about 67 years old then, returned back to his one apartment that he had in Singapore. He did not build any other house. He had nothing else to fall back on, even though he had been prime minister, taking the country from an underdeveloped country to a developed nation in 25 years. In fact, people asked him and said, what kind of man are you? Why would you do such a thing? You know. So when other nations, their leaders are enriching themselves and becoming famous for money, for wealth around the world, what happened to you? He said, when I became prime minister of Singapore, I knew I had only two options. One is to make Singapore the richest, one of the richest country, one of the 20 richest countries on earth. Or the second option, I make my family very rich, will be in Forbes lists of the richest people on earth.
But at the expense of Singapore.
At the expense of Singapore. But I chose the first option. Let Singapore be among the 20 richest nations on earth. You know, somebody was saying jokingly, one of the African leaders said, well, don't blame us for being corrupt, because Lee Kuan Yew chose the first option, so we had to choose the second one, because he has already chosen the first one. There's no any other option. He has already taken the first one, so we took the second one.
That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
And I recall Yoweri Museveni of Uganda, who also has been in power since 1986 or thereabout. 86. You know, at some point, you know, when he was being challenged when some citizens were challenging him for actually sitting tight, you know, because I do recall that in 2005, the constitution had to be amended to enable him to, stay much longer and things like that. He said, you know, you can't expect me to quit the stage at this point. You can't expect me to plant, banana only for me to leave it, but the banana plantation when it's already bearing fruit. Prof, sir, I think it was a very devastating confession to make. You know, Yoweri Museveni was literally saying, I have planted banana. The banana is now yielding fruit, and you want me to quit? It's like saying, yeah, the country is now richer and bigger and is bringing in money and all of that, and you want me to quit the country, to quit presidency at the point in time when the country is bringing in money and things like that. You know, many people thought, why should the leader say that? Because, I mean, having been in power for, decades and things like that, wouldn't you give an opportunity, to younger people to take over and things like that, having paid your dues and things, just like, Nelson Mandela of South Africa actually did. Now, what does that say, Professor, about the mindset of African leaders, and not just Nigeria? What's the attitude of African leaders towards power?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I've met with Museveni at close distance, face to face, because I was dean of postgraduate school of Kampala International University in Uganda, and one day he just surprisingly came for our convocation. We were not informed in advance that he was going to come, so and he insisted that before he leaves, we will have to read out the names of the PhD graduates in his presence. He wants to hear it. And I had to do it in front of Museveni. At a certain point, when the people were celebrating and dancing, he left his seat and entered the crowd and was dancing along with them. He's a very interesting, very energetic man. And I think that he's a man also that cares for his people, because for the little time I stayed in Uganda, I've seen Museveni respond to people spontaneously. Like an elderly woman cried out to him that her house is collapsing on her head. She was shouting from the crowd. They were trying to stop her. Museveni heard her and asked that they bring her, that her house is collapsing. Museveni built a house for the woman. She has the best house in the village. In fact, they refer to her house as the house of the president. So, but having said that, it doesn't mean that you should cling on to power perpetually.
Yes.
You should know when to leave the stage. In fact, they say leave the stage when the ovation is loud.
Yes.
Because now he's facing great opposition that he has never faced before.
He has overstayed his welcome.
He has overstayed his welcome. When he came in, the first 5, even up to 10 years, there was celebration. The people were rejoicing because he was doing very well. It's as if he liberated the country. Remember that Idi Amin Dada went on exile, 1979. Between 1979 and 1986, they had about 12 different presidents in Uganda. Between 79 and 86. When Museveni took over, he stabilized the country. He gave women freedom, liberty. They could vote, they could vie for offices. One of the most highly placed people in Uganda is a woman today. But as time went on, he became power drunk. Like the average African leader, he became as if, who is like unto me, I'm the only one that can do it.
Definitely.
People make that mistake in leadership to think that if you are not there, nobody else can do it. It must be you, and that is a mistake that people make. Not only politicians, but leaders of all kinds, even captains of industries. We must know when to call it quits, leave the stage. Sometimes we feel that if you are not the one that is the leader, what needs to be done cannot be done, and that's a mistake. Anytime you think that way, you are a failure as a leader. Because leadership without a successor is a failure.
Already.
If nobody can do what you're doing, you have failed as a leader. It means you've not been able to mentor people that can do exactly the same thing you're doing and even do it better than you. Look at Singapore today.
Professor, Jesus, just to go a bit religious, Jesus did have 12 disciples whom he had mentored.
Yes.
And Prophet Muhammad also had, the Khulafa al-Rashidin, the 4 rightly guided caliphs, like Abu Bakr, Usman, Umar, and the rest, whom he also was preparing for leadership in the event that he knew he was gonna, he was gonna die someday, and so he was preparing. I think that's just exactly what you were saying about mentorship and preparing people who will take over when you're not there.
And continue. When you're not there, in fact, they should be doing better than you.
Yes.
That's what is happening with these countries that mentored people. They are doing better now than even when their founding fathers were alive. So we have a lot to learn. If we must be a developed country, we must follow these principles of meritocracy, of pragmatism, of honesty.
All right. I think on this note, we just take it from here as we go on a break. We'll be coming back just after this break. Our listener, our viewer, please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your
Unity.
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation.
It concerns you. It a kill law, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity.
Knowing fully well that you are there with us on Unity 93.3 FM and TV this morning is Thursday, the 23 November 2023. And of course, we're reaching you live from the hills of ZINARIYA here in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria, the home of peace and tourism. In the studio, it has been Shuaibu Doro and Professor P.H. Ba Meyi. We've been talking the secret to make our country, Nigeria, greater and, of course, the greatest. And so, you may want to be a part of it. The studio line is booting. We are just going straight to begin to receive your calls. 070-3235-3315. And then we'll just pick your call. Just tell me your name, where you're calling from, and then you go on. In a minute, let's have your take on the topic of today and any other issue at all that you feel it will help. But don't forget, derogatory statements and name calling and all of such will not be tolerated here. So we will stick to the visions of trying to promote peaceful coexistence. And so comments made on this platform again and again, and not the position of Unity 93.3 FM. And so you may want to start calling. And for our Facebook page, just go Unity Radio FM/TV. Just drop your comments there. And for SMS, 0808-478-9999. So while I wait to start receiving your call, let me just start by reading some of the comments on our Facebook page. This one is saying, good morning, Kubi Shuaibu Doro and the Prof in the studio. I'm watching you live from Rico's new layout. Actually, you guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Thank you so much. It's coming from Aminu Abdullahi Shuaibu. Thank you, Aminu. And this one says, good morning, Unity TV presenter. I appreciate your efforts for educating the nation. I'm watching you, all your programs from Isa LG in Sokoto State. Wow, it's a beautiful one. Thank you. Then Gadi Isa. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kosti, Shuaibu Doro and Prof in the house.
Good morning.
I want to believe it's Yakubu.
Yes, this is Yakubu Salu calling from Lepa Zaria Road.
Thank you very much. Go on in a minute, please.
Honestly speaking, the Prof have done justice to the topic.
Right.
And it's only God that will bless you people.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
And the issue of the secret state of a country can never be overemphasized.
Sure.
Because I think any citizen will love to see his country working.
Right.
So, and the Prof have mentioned this MPH. And if the leaders cannot hold it, that is what he just explained to us. They should try and and concentrate on security to make sure that we are safe. They should concentrate on agriculture, please.
Security, agriculture.
Economic sector to make sure that our industries, they build our industries and refineries.
Thank you.
Our sector to make sure that we have uninterrupted power supply.
All right.
The educational sector, please, they should concentrate on that because a professor cannot be a professor without going to school.
Thank you.
I think they need to concentrate, and as he once mentioned almost 2 weeks ago, these lawmakers are their students, please. Why are they doing this and that? Leave them humble themselves. Come and meet this professor, because even this morning I learned something that I've not learned in school.
All right.
And I jotted it down.
All right,
So
thank you.
Professor. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Yakubu. Okay, still pondering on the issue of MP hates meritocracy, pragmatism, and honesty. All right, that's what we take home for today. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Your name and location, please. Okay, I barely can hear you.
That is that.
Okay, go on in a minute. Let's see if.
Okay.
All right, from Unity Junction.
Yeah.
Please go on quickly in a minute.
What I have this morning
Yes.
is that honestly speaking, our country will be a great nation. And good thing will happen in this country. We will have a very, very good platform in our election, electoral system. If we can get this right from there, if we work well, that's when we will have a good government that will make sure that all the masses enjoy the dividends of democracy. The good thing that Nigeria, God have for Nigerians, everybody will have it.
All right.
Not from people who enjoy it only them alone. My brother, go to the street. Many families cannot afford 3 square meals in a day. Many families cannot even pay for their children's school fees.
All right.
That's a good country that we are paying for. So we need to do the needful.
All right, thank
Let
you.
all of us rise up and make sure that Nigeria works again. Good morning.
Oh, thank you very much. I love his submissions. Towards the end, he called for a collective effort. Let's work together and make Plateau and make Nigeria and make Africa what it should be. I love that. It's not one person thing. All of us belong to it. Hello, good morning. Hello. Thank you very much. Your name and location.
Good morning.
Thank you. And then already. Amen. All right. All right.
You know how you are talking about development, you must talk about the environment, the so Nigeria started well. Even early before 1960, at least we have developed from the environment state to the safety state.
Yes.
We can say that Nigerians are ready for democracy, for independence. Sorry. You understand? And I said, when we became the independence, we are looking for a way at least to progress. So at 63 years now, Nigeria is 63 now. We are still living like children. And you see, that is our major concern, that Nigerians are complaining. And we always say, let's pray for our leaders. We never say to pray for them. Because development just has to do with sequences of stages. But what happens to the continuity from our leaders? Instead of fighting each other to go, they come together as well to unite this nation. See, we are always praying, and it's our major stage. We are hoping to see that our leaders discover the secret and the need to develop a nation that will not better that will benefit the other nation.
All right.
So I'm proud to be in Nigeria. Nigeria is a great country. The only thing left for this country now is just development. So we are in every aspect. There is no way to go to university in Nigeria. And we are doing fine. So it's right time our leaders unite ourselves to follow us to the issue. So that God can bless it. Thank you. God will continue to bless you.
Amen. Thank you very much. What is lacking it's development. If development is what is lacking, then it simply means that we don't have developers. That was the submission of Adeumi. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Please.
Yes, your name?
My name now will be calling from Terminus.
Mr. Kingsley Barnabas from Terminus.
Yes, my brother.
Thank
you. My brother, the guest has spoke well, very well this morning. May God bless him. Give him more knowledge to talk.
Amen.
Because it is better when you see bad, you call bad. God will bless you. So when you see bad, you call evil. Good. God will not bless you. I think God in heaven will never forgive you. You see, if you want our country to move forward, number one, you see, like example, what happened in Kano. People voted for their right choice of people that they believe that this man will work for them. They now remove the man. Look at what is happening in Plateau. We all know that we voted this man in power. You understand? And how will you do it? It's when INEC and the judges decided that this is how they are going to set Nigeria in order before our country move forward. If we repair our refinery, if we look at granite, we are farming granite, but I cannot buy granite of 100 naira to say that I get granite of 100 naira. But before it was not like that.
Yes.
A lot of resources God bless us in this country that we can use it to fit our country without no importation of any toothpick. You know that toothpick, they import toothpick in Nigeria. They import matches in Nigeria. What does it supposed to be like this? Whereby God bless us. If this Mr. President Parliament we forget about statements, tribalism and electricity. Honestly, we will move this country forward. Use the right person that's supposed to be doing the work. Like our governor now here in Plateau, he is working. So, and all the good places that I do, the governor is working.
Thank you. Thank you
but
very much.
If they continue bringing statements, tribalism like former President Muhammad Buhari that produce assessment with electricity and the digital, it cannot move forward. God will bless our guests for saying the truth.
Yes.
Okay.
There's nothing I say the truth because Bible says say the truth and the truth will set you free.
Set you free.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy for the help this morning.
Thank you
God
very much.
bless our country.
Amen.
Bless our country. And God will control all the people that work for us so that God will use them to work for
Thank
us
you
so that
very
we
much.
enjoy our country.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Kingsley Barnabas. I just read of your comment, Danso Dangi Isa, and
So
now Asu Bagun Francis. I believe in my state Plateau, but I'm not going to be judged by God based on where I come from, but on what I have done. Wonderfully good or bad, why on earth, with all the fightings and the amassment of wealth, our days are numbered here on earth. Please calm down and be positive. Asobagon Francis, thank you. And this one is saying, good morning, gentlemen in the studio, and special greetings to the Prof. May God continue to give you good health. The confusions from the appeal court judgment concerning the Kano governorship elections, they should never have happened. Our judges should remember that their decisions affect millions of people, so they do their work perfectly before bringing it out to the public. Is a lengthy one there. Imagine the kind of confusions and drama this mistake from courts cost, especially in Kano. Appeal court should be above such typographical error. Muhammad Tajuddin from Naraguda. Thank you, Muhammad Tajuddin. And this one is saying, good morning to Mr. Presenter. I'm watching you from Kamba Akebi, and it's coming from Garba and Hali Kamba Akebi. Thank you for watching. And this one is saying, good mornings to you all. Could be keep up the good work. God bless Nigeria. Amen. It's from Mutala Meikia. And the charity Hali saying, what happens to all the monies being fined by judges, saying the dilapidated structures in some local government areas, and they still using analog means to carry out cases. Peace to a Plateau State. Charity Ali, don't make me want to laugh already. Okay, and this one is saying, good morning, could be Mr. Doro and Prof. You are doing a great job. out there. Keep telling the truth to our politicians. By Allah, bless one day. Niger, go better. Watching you live from Jingir, Sani Ibrahim Dila Cisco. Thank you so much for sending in yours. And then let's take some more calls. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello? Yes, you're on, please. Go on. Your name. Okay, it's like that one is not with us at the moment. Let's just read our SMS. This one is saying, good morning, Kobe, Mr. Dora, and Professor Bameyi. Kudos always to the Prof for his consistent, wonderful, and educative analysis. I think to develop a country, there should be access to quality education, access to reliable energy supply, and other good infrastructure. Most importantly, there should be political stability and good governance. The leaders must have a strong political will to do the needful. They must be transparent and selfless. I wish we can have these in Nigeria. Peace is priceless. Let's live in peace. God bless Unity FM. God bless Nigeria. Christy Izang from Rukuba Road. Thank you, Christy Izang, for sending in yours. And this one is saying, I am Aisha Ashams from J Town. Okay, that's just good. Good morning, Prof. Education, and education, law and order, and also justice to all. We are one and the same in Nigeria. Finally, silence is the best treatment for anger. May God give us the ability to refrain from anger. Allah is supreme over all things. Aisha Ashams, thank you very much. I think that is the much we can take. We'll just allow a Prof to respond to this and a few others that he would within the time. But I'll also okay, Prof, it's all yours now.
Thank you, Kobe. Viewers and listeners, we thank you for your contributions. We thank you for always being part of this program. All of us want to have a nation that is developed, a nation that we can all be proud of. It's not rocket science. Others have done it. If Singapore moved from poverty, extreme poverty, to a developed country within 25 years, what are we doing? We are 63. And we've not yet reached there. We've not even gone a quarter of where Singapore is. But we can do it. Because the people who did it, they don't have two heads. They have just one. But they were pragmatic. They were honest. There was meritocracy. Meritocracy, pragmatism, honesty. Many things are composed within these three words. For example, the security system. How pragmatic are we about security to ensure that the citizens are secured? Are we being pragmatic to ensure that we get the results? Is it the black cat that will catch the mice, or the white cat? Which kind of cat are we using? If the cat will catch the mice, it's a good cat. And these are things that we should look at. Nigerians, we should stop being sentimental. We should stop pretending. We should stop profiling people. See yourself first. You're a Nigerian, you're a human being first, and a Nigerian, and that you want Nigeria to become a great nation. Every nation that became great because the citizens were committed to it.
The citizens this time.
The nation we are talking about today, Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew could not have done it alone. If they had allowed him to do it alone, he would have failed. But the citizens joined hands with a visionary leader to ensure that they have a country that they can be proud of. The leader was imparting his vision into the hearts of the leaders, of the citizens, teaching them, training them, telling them what to do. Today the result is a developed country where people are very sincere, people are honest. In Singapore, you can drop your phone in the market and come back and meet it, nobody will carry it. You can leave your phone in a public bus. You will return back and meet it there. Nobody is interested in taking it. Why? Because that culture of honesty has already been imparted into them. It has become their culture. It has become part of them. That you need to be honest. That corruption should not be near you in any form whatsoever. Because sometimes we always look at corruption as it's the politicians that are corrupt. We don't know the citizens are also corrupt. When you have the cleaner, he's not doing what he's supposed to do, that's corruption. The cleaner sees money while he's cleaning and he carries it and puts it in his pocket. That is the corruption. The cleaner doesn't do his job properly the way it is supposed to be done. He's cutting corners. That is corruption. Anytime you fail to carry out your duties as a citizen the way it is supposed to be carried out, it is corruption. So if we want a nation that is great, we want a nation that is developed, we want the Nigeria that we can all be proud of, we want to bequeath to the next generation the legacy of a Nigeria that is economically developed, that is strong, that is vibrant, then it has to begin with us. That's why I like the words of Mahatma Gandhi. He said, and I quote, "Be the change that you want to see in the world," unquote. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Whatever the change is that you want to see, be the one that is the change. That's why I like the slogan, I think it's the last administration, even though they did not work on it very well, but change begins with me.
Yes.
That's the way it should be.
Yes, change begins with
the change should begin with me. Because sometimes we insult, we abuse the politicians, we castigate them, we crucify them, but we go back and we do worse than those politicians, you know. So the change should begin with me. If I'm given the opportunity, am I meritocratic? Will meritocracy be my watchword? Pragmatism, will it be my watchword? Honesty, will it be my watchword? Or will it be something else? You know, some of those politicians that are messing up today, they were also making noise. They were also talking. They were abusing other politicians. I mean, the current senators were small boys during the First and the Second Republic. But today they are the ones there in power. Are they doing any better?
Yes, like Doro said earlier on during review, he said Akwai, right? He was one of those who led the advocacy that
Yaradua should hand over power to Goodluck Jonathan. That's right.
But
he was one of those
now
saying,
it's his turn.
Hand over power, you are sick, you are incapacitated. Why are you still holding on to power? He was one of those making noise that time.
But today
he's doing the same thing. Can you imagine?
Sick, but he
is sick, but he wants to hold on to power. You know. So it is unfortunate that we keep repeating the mistakes of our past leaders. Instead of moving forward, we seem to be going one step forward, two steps backward. One step forward, two steps backward. That is why we've not become a developed country. That's why Nigeria is still considered an underdeveloped country up to today. In spite of our vast mineral resources, our vast potentials, in spite of our human capital that cannot be compared with any in the whole of Africa, and many nations around the world cannot compete with our human capital, but we are not using all these resources. The human capital is not developed. We are not using our mineral resources to develop our country. We are not using all that God has given unto us. Rather, it looks as if the resources have even become a curse, you know, to the nation. So it is high time we wake up and be practical, decisive. What kind of Nigeria do we want? Let's work towards that Nigeria. Let nothing stop us.
Okay, I want to believe somehow it's your final word, but of course you have the opportunity now. So what will be your final word, Prof?
My final word, viewers and listeners, we need action. You can have a great vision. You can have passion for that vision. But without action, you will not see it come to pass. So, as Nigerians, we have a vision of a great nation, We want to see that great nation. Let's be passionate about it.
All right.
But let's add action to it. Today we've heard about meritocracy. We've heard about pragmatism. We've heard about honesty. Let's go and put it into practice. Let there be action. Action to the words. Let's begin in our little corners, in our homes.
Families.
Let's, in your family, as the head of the family or the mother in the home, meritocracy, pragmatism, and honesty. In your office, you're the boss, or you're just a subordinate, whoever you are. Every one of us is a leader because you're leading some people.
All right.
Meritocracy, pragmatism, and honesty should be our watchword.
Thank you very much, Doro. A word, please.
God bless Nigeria.
Well, thank you very
That's
much.
all we can
I
say,
say amen to that,
Yes.
Doro, for praying. God bless Nigeria. Of course, from Plateau, we offer prayer unto Nigeria and Africa at large. And thank you so much for being in the studio, Prof. and Doro.
That's always a pleasure.
We look forward to having the last editions tomorrow being Friday. May God take all of us to get to see it tomorrow, even as the sun shall rise and beam its lights all over us. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Do stay tuned for other programs on these stations. Bye-bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here.